the Dork Podcast with Rich Keefe. It's the Dork Podcast. Keefe Davey. It's the Dork Podcast. Hashtag. It's the hashtag Dork Podcast.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Hashtag Dork. My name is Rich Keefe, joined as always by Davey Eyeballs. He is Rick Rude Von Dick Dude. He is promo code Ron Von D. Y'all know who he is.
It's Ryan. It's Ryan. It's my Ryan. My Ryan.
All hail the king of ginger ale. It's Ryan Davey. Davey, how are you?
And congratulations to her. Was it Julianne Nicholson for her Emmy win last night? Well deserved. Didn't thank us. Kind of bullshit.
Didn't mention us at all. People were all pissed that Catherine Hahn didn't win for WandaVision, who was also really, really good. But Julianne Nicholson was insane in that.
Come on. Like Catherine Hahn will have her day. She was very, very good, and she will win awards, but come on, man.
I went back and I'm starting to watch Mrs. Fletcher. Did you watch Mrs. Fletcher?
I watched the first episode. I was very intrigued by Mrs. Fletcher, and then I kind of, something happened.
Let's just say this. The second episode is more intriguing, if you catch my
drift.
I
do.
She's naked.
She got all kinds of naked.
She's naked.
Yeah.
But Julianne Nicholson and then Kate Winslet won. So Mayor of Easttown dominated, as it should have.
And Ted Lasso was like off the goddamn charts.
Ted Lasso won. I've never seen a snap at Ted Lasso.
I will say it's not what you think it is. It's not like just Jason Sudeikis being a doofus the whole time. No, it's actually very, very good.
No, I know that it can't. And I like Sudeikis based on what everybody has said about it and how it's universally loved. I know it's different. I know, Ryan, it has heart.
All the heart.
It's like
all the heart. But there's like, you know what we talk about, like characters you give a shit about. Like there's not a character on that show that I don't fucking care about at all.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
It's hard to do because a lot of shows have maybe one or two, and then when like the other scenes, you're like, I can't wait till they go back to those two.
Yes.
If you like everybody in a show, and that's why Mayor of Easttown was so good. Like Mayor of Easttown had everybody was intriguing. Or at least,
how about Jean Smart? She loves Jean Smart. She won for Hacks, but not Mayor of Easttown. So
she was nominated with Julianne Nicholson, I think.
Right. So like, take your pick there, right?
We're gonna cut the Emmy in half.
Yeah.
Give it to you both. All right. So this week last week on Hashtag Dork, we did the PlayStation Showcase. It essentially was a full episode of Davey's Video Game Minute.
Yeah.
This week on the podcast, it's going to be a full episode pretty much of the news. This week in Dork! Yeah! And we'll also be paying attention to the chat a little bit more closely this week than we do in normal weeks. So feel free to fire off a question, and we'll sort of work those in as we go. We have a whole bunch of planned topics as well. And Ryan, it would be remiss if we didn't begin. Since our last episode, we found out about the really sad news of Norm MacDonald passing away at the age of 61, 9 years dealing with cancer. And really nobody knew about it. I mean, maybe his super close people did to him, but as far as Hollywood or from the outside, like I had no idea. You had no idea.
No.
Pretty crazy. And it immediately just the whole day or the next couple of days after that news came out was just people sharing their favorite moments of Norm MacDonald, who to me is one of the most unique comics you are ever going to hear and was so good in a variety of things. And there's so many ones that jump out to you. Like there's so many things, whether it's Weekend Update or Burt Reynolds, or anytime he was a guest on Conan or Letterman. He also had a great interview with Stern one time. Actually, at least one, maybe a couple of really good ones with Stern. I don't know. The roast of Bob Saget is the one that
was really fucking good
to mind.
Yeah.
He had so many things. A pretty unique voice and one that'll certainly be missed. A guy who was a hilarious. I don't want to say he was had a cult following. I think it was bigger than that, but it was a pretty unique voice that he had.
He had some diehard fans, and the thing that really trips me out about Norm MacDonald is like when I first saw Norm MacDonald on SNL, I didn't really get it because it was just so different. It was just so different than everything that had come before it. And I, like you said, his voice, the way he delivered jokes was, I didn't get it. I said it again. Like I didn't get it, but he would like kind of like stare into the camera, like,
Well, it was like deadpan, but he also found a way to like show his personality while doing it. So it wasn't just like the monotone deadpan. Like he's not Stephen Wright.
No,
He's deadpan. And then he was so good at Weekend Update, my personal favorite, and he would kind of wait for people. It was actually when I started watching it, I was so young that I didn't get all the jokes.
Right.
But I got that he was funny because he delivered it differently than anybody I had seen. And he would sort of wait and then he'd kind of like mumble under his breath, like, oh, you don't like that one? Or he started it every time. He was like, all right, here's the fake news. And you're like, here's the fake news. Because not to make it, I hate when people take a death and then they're like, I this and me this. But it is also our podcast. He was the first Weekend Update anchor I remember watching regularly live because he, I believe, had that spot from 94 to 97. So I was 10, 11, 12, 13. Right. And I want to say like 95. I was probably 11. And I think my parents would let me stay up and watch Saturday Night Live. I remember basically watching like the Will Ferrell years with my dad. Like we would sit and watch SNL together. And it ended up being a lot of Colin Quinn on Update, but it was mostly Norm MacDonald at first. And I just remember like being a kid, not really understanding all of the OJ jokes, but knowing that there were a lot of them. So and he was great.
And he wound up getting fired from Saturday Night Live for saying like fuck on the air, right?
No, well, I think why he got let go was there was a guy, not Lorne Michaels, but there was a guy super, super high up at NBC who was actually friends with OJ Simpson. And the story goes like, hey, Norm, can you cool it with the OJ jokes? And he's like, sure. And then just more OJ jokes. In fact, one of his greatest OJ jokes ever was when he hosted the ESPYs, which he was also never allowed to do again.
Right.
He was so great at it. And he said something about, it was 97. And Charles Woodson was in the audience.
Oh,
he's like, Charles Woodson, like, congratulations on winning the Heisman. Something they can never take away from you unless you murder your wife in a waiting. And like the crowd, like Woodson's like, okay, and they like zoom in on guys like it was like Griffey, and they're like,
I love that.
Like, an incredible joke.
That's a really good joke.
He didn't give a shit. Also, like the one that was making the rounds, the one we played on Gresh and Keefe was the Courtney Thorne Smith, the actress who was on Melrose Place, and she was on Conan, and Norm's sitting there. He's like one chair over. And he's just jumping in nonstop. She was promoting a movie she was doing with Carrot Top. And he's like, yeah, I think I know what the name of the movie is or whatever. And she's like, because like, I don't think she was promoting something else. And Conan's like, oh, like there's a yet to be named movie that with Carrot Top. And then Norm butts in. He's like, I think I know the name of the movie. Box Office Poison. And then Conan's like, she's in it. She's in the movie. And he's like, I know I'm gonna see it. I'm gonna see it because she's in it. And then he kept butting in. And then finally at the end, she's like, actually there is a title. It's Chairman of the Board.
Chairman of the Board. I remember that movie.
Conan goes, all right, Norm, do something with that. He waits a second. He goes, is it spelled B-O-R-E-D? Conan lost his mind. So I looked it up. That movie came out.
It sucked
in the 90s.
Yeah, I saw it.
It only cost $10 million to make.
Only $10 million. Nine of it was Carrot Top's props.
Probably. It made $181,000. Like, honest to Christ, if we were in the theater, just a string of Dork podcast episodes from this YouTube channel and was in the theater, wouldn't more than $181,000 of people just stumble into it?
I think so. There would be our diehard loyal fans who are in the chat right now. I'm glad you would come and see it. Mm-hmm. But there would be also people who would be like, what the hell is this? And we get some looky-loos who just show up and...
Chairman of the Board, do you know how much money back then was probably made on kids buying movies to a PG-13 movie and then sneaking into the R?
Oh, yeah.
So out of that 181, I bet only like 80 of it was legit. Probably all fake people, fake buys going in there.
Oh, fucking Norm. So we would be remiss too if we didn't talk about Dirty Work. I didn't really understand Norm MacDonald until I saw Dirty Work and how fucking he wrote that. Did he write that?
Yeah, of course he did.
It was him and Artie Lang. And I just like, that to me I was sold with it when he was mooning people, and he was supposed to keep driving, and then he didn't. He just stopped. Like that. That's a great joke. And who was it? Who played the dad? The dad. It was like the same dad as like Problem Child. I forget the actor's name.
It was
I forget the fucking guy's name. But
it was Jack Warden played Artie's father.
Yes. And he said, when I was your age, we didn't have these fancy birth control methods, like pulling out. Just a great line.
Yeah, just so good. Yeah, so it was written by Norm and Fred Wolf and another guy, and it was actually directed by Bob Saget.
Yeah, someone said
like
that.
Norm loved. And his roast, I remember watching that live too, and it was because Bob Saget is actually like a dirty comic. Like most people know.
God.
For a while, nobody really knew that.
Yeah.
And he was a dirty comic, and then Norm goes up there and goes 100% squeaky clean. But the audience didn't really know how to react to it. But the other comics on the thing were like dying that he just went full squeaky clean on it. Awesome.
I remember listening. This is completely off topic, but the movie The Aristocrats, where they talk about the comedian's joke, The Aristocrats.
Yeah.
And having Bob Saget tell his version of The Aristocrats. And my favorite line of the whole thing was, "Mother had a boil on her back. That popped." That popped.
Yeah. But Dirty Work is awesome. He also had a few different shows. He had speaking of Artie Lang, he had the Norm show that Artie was on ran for like 3 seasons. He had that sports show that I remember wanting to liking. I wanted to like it more than I liked.
Yeah, it wasn't that good.
And then he has a Netflix special, or not special, a Netflix show. I think it's like 10 interviews that he does.
And it's called like Norm Has a Show or something like that. Like, yeah.
And again, also kind of hit or miss. And so that one came out just a few years ago. And if you go back and watch it now, in a couple of the episodes, you can kind of tell that he might be going through something.
Yeah.
And that's the other fucked up thing, by the way, is remember like Chadwick Boseman? Like nobody knew Chadwick Boseman was sick.
Oh, and then they would just like see him, like he would FaceTime some kid in a hospital and they'd be like, "You look like shit."
Right. So like, by the way, I mean, people that do that are probably pieces of shit anyway, but you might want to fucking like wait a minute. So you see some guy who you don't know is on TV or on a commercial or on something, you're like, "Oh, he doesn't fucking look the same."
Right.
Maybe he's slowly dying.
Well, that was when I watched The Five Bloods and I saw Chadwick Boseman. In hindsight, I was like, he didn't fucking look good in
I
that
know.
movie.
So I mean, because there was the one he does Norms with David Spade, and you could tell like, he doesn't look like he did just like a few years even earlier than that. But the David Spade one's pretty funny. He does one with Lorne Michaels. He has a whole bunch of different ones on there. But yeah, I mean the guy is just an absolute legend. And that's the other thing too, is the comedians that are universally liked by other comedians, like that says something. Because not all of them are. But guys like Norm is certainly on that
and another one, like you have people like comics who like people who you, again, in the comedy world. I watched all of Jerry Seinfeld's Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee and like everyone on that show.
Mm-hmm.
And like someone like, I want to say, who's another good example of that? Like someone like even like Colin Quinn.
I was gonna say Colin Quinn and Dave Attell are both
David
guys.
Tell's, definitely.
Everybody they love those guys.
Mm-hmm. Very sad though. Very sad news hearing.
It's super sad. And also he kind of like when he joined SNL, it was like guys like him and like Tim Meadows who were around for Farley, Sandler, Spade, Schneider, Carvey, Myers, but then we're also there for like Will Ferrell, Tina Fey, like Jimmy Fallon, like all those. I think Fallon, maybe not, but like, but
no, I think so. When he was like a featured,
and like Tracy Morgan, guys like that. Mr. Monroe in the chat saw David Tell at Mohegan. That would be a guy I would definitely want to see live. Would love it.
Yeah, I mean my ace in the hole, not to big time yet, but I saw Carlin when I was like 12 years old.
All right.
Did I tell you that story?
Yes,
I did. Yeah, I told that story on this.
You did.
But I've
speaking
of
go
to more comedy shows.
Norm was supposed to be at the Wilbur in like soon.
That's a great place to see comedy. But I saw Daniel Tosh there.
How was Tosh?
Good. It was good. So it was like the first leg of his tour. So he basically was like, "Look, I'm he had to have like a notebook because it was like the first show of the tour, so it was a little out of sync.
Oh,
And he spent like 5 minutes there in the front row, basically like bashing these two parents who brought their like 9-year-old son.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
He's like, he's basically like, what the fuck are you doing? You know, like, why are you bringing this kid to this show and sitting him in the front row?
Yeah, that's a bit much. I
Yeah.
haven't seen too many, to be honest. I would love to see more. I've seen Dane Cook a couple of times. He had Gary Gulman, my now enemy.
You're
but
fuck that guy.
He had him ahead of him. I did see Seinfeld when he came to like the Wang Theater, and he was good. And I think like Tom Papa might have opened for him. I think it was Tom Papa. He was pretty funny too. But yeah, I should take a look at the old Wilbur and go see, see more people.
Hey, see if we can do some press there.
Yeah.
Maybe we should, TLDR has their comic book guys, and Mac and Goo has whoever. Like, we should have like comedians. We should talk to comedians.
They have Shime.
They had what's his name, fucking Mr. Feeney in his wheelchair.
They didn't have him on the podcast though.
They could have.
That would have been an absolute.
It would have been like, what?
Oh, God. Anything else on Oh, by the way, I would say on SNL outside of Weekend Update, it would have to be Burt Reynolds' Celebrity Jeopardy as the best shit. Do you remember in high school we had like the audio of Celebrity Jeopardies and we would just listen to them.
On Winamp. Remember fucking Winamp? Yeah, and I would just listen to them. And they were so good. That and remember the Delta Airlines like Jive commercial?
Yes.
That was fucking awesome.
Where did that come from?
I don't know. It was like one of the first viral things. So someone in the chat said, remind us why Gary Gulman is your enemy.
All right, here we go, Timothy. So this was a few years ago on the show had just started, right? So at this point it was Dale and Keefe, and it had just started, so it was like 10:02. And we're talking about who knows what, Bruins, Celtics, Red Sox, Patriots. And all of a sudden I'm just like scrolling, I'm checking Twitter, and I see in my notifications Gary Gulman tweets at me, and he's like, hey, maybe you want to give me some credit for the joke you just stole of mine. And I was like, what? And I was like, and so I'm like in the middle of the show, like, what the fuck? I'm like, I've barely been on the air. Like, we just started. I certainly didn't quote Gary Gulman and not give him credit.
And you were like, who?
So then I responded to him, and because he specifically wrote to
you. Yeah, I remember that.
21, like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I don't think I did that.
I just got here.
I just got on the air. And then he was like, eventually he finally got back to me, and we found out that it was the assistant producer on the other show.
Right.
Had said something about it.
Right.
And I was like, all right, dude, well, that wasn't me. Like, can you not call me like a joke thief and like apologize? And then it was just crickets on his end.
Right. He wouldn't apologize. I remember that's what you were pissed off about.
I was so pissed that he wouldn't be like, my bad. He called me a joke thief. And then I'm like, I would give you credit. And the fucking thing about it was a shitty joke that nobody even laughed at.
Right.
Like, those joke, and they were like, eh. And then they moved on. And he's like, I wanted credit for that? Like, dude.
No.
Dude.
Like, that's bullshit.
No, it wasn't Chris. It was who the fuck was it? It was Stiz. So he was filling in for somebody. Stiz used to work at AAF. And then he tweeted at Gulman. He's like, oh, my bad, it was me. And then Goldman's like, no problem. I'm like, dude, the fuck? How about it? So then I was tweeting at him for like a couple of days, and then I kind of moved on, but he's now my enemy.
So Jason in the chat, Jason Bogle, who was at the Lowell, I was at that show. That's the show I went to at the Wang and Lowell.
Oh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I was at that show. And that was the line he started with. And then he said the thing about the women having a bad hair day and to just get out of bed, you superficial effing C. And like 8 women got up and walked out. So my last Norm MacDonald story before we move on. I loved, like you said, the Celebrity Jeopardy stuff so much. And it became yes. So my roommate, we had like one of those like John Belushi, like super seniors, my junior year in college. And he came home one day and he was pissed because he had to take 2 classes and he was failing one of them to fucking get out of college. And he came home all fucking steaming, and we're like, Sean, like, what's going on? Like, what's the problem? He's like, fuck you guys. So we're like, so apparently one of my favorite things to do back in those days was like fuck with people's computers. So I would put horrific wallpapers on his computer and then password it, like put a password on it so he couldn't change it.
Yeah, you're locked in there.
And I forgot that I made an autocorrect. His name was Sean Barry. So anytime he typed Sean and hit space and blah, 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 like basically made like an autocorrect, he handed in 3 papers under the name Turd Ferguson. And the professor was like, finally was like, you need to stop. And he's like, stop what? He's like, you need
Turd Ferguson.
yeah, he's like, stop. He's like, please write your real name on your paper. He's like, what are you talking about?
I know that. I'm not stupid. I'm smarter than you.
So he handed in like a philosophy class, he handed in 3 papers under the name Turd Ferguson.
Who's actually doing better in the class than the real guy was.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
He eventually graduated from college. So
good for him. Who knows what he's doing at this point?
I have no idea.
Sure, he's doing great.
Yeah.
Great out there kicking some ass. Speaking of kicking some ass, Ryan, we've been talking about wrestling a little bit more recently on the AEW is where it's at. They have the star power now. It's the hot brand.
Yeah.
How about this on either Friday or Friday. So they have a show on Wednesday and they have a show on Friday. On Friday, the guy formerly known as Aleister Black, he is now Malachi Black.
Yes.
He is
Great name.
And he's awesome. He's from the Netherlands. He's all tatted up. He can do crazy kicks. Badass, like legit badass. He's in a feud right now with Cody Rhodes. And in the front row was Rosario Dawson.
Why? Is she a wrestling fan?
She starts talking shit to Malachi Black. Malachi Black goes out and starts talking shit to her. Cody Rhodes distracts everybody. Next thing you know, Rosario Dawson jumps on top of Malachi Black. I was like, this is the greatest goddamn thing in the world. Loved it.
And that's how I was reading. Dr. Joe in the chat said, I just read this thing as an FU to the WWE. They're actually doing like an Owen Hart Cup.
Yeah, they're very friendly with the Harts, I think, because like Bret Hart was part of it early on, and now they're doing like an Owen Hart tournament, which is pretty great because did you see the dark side on Owen Hart?
And which is messed up is that like some of the Hart family like turned on the wife.
And the wife is prominently featured in the dark side episode and is incredibly impressive. Like she is
super articulate, like very she's a doctor, right?
Yeah, I believe she is a doctor, and she found out everything that happened there, and she refuses to let the WWE put him in the Hall of Fame. She's like, because they want to like, oh, we're gonna put him in the Hall of Fame. She's like, nope, not doing it. We want to honor him. He's like, well, you should have fucking put on a better carabiner then if you wanted to honor him. Correct. So I assume
I'm not laughing. I'm just like,
no, I get it.
Yeah,
I think AEW must have. I assume I didn't read anything on this, but they must have reached out to her and got her blessing for this.
Oh hell yeah! Is like, wait, so who's doing this? And they're like AEW. They're like, what's that? It's like it's wrestling. It's like, is it involved with WWE? No. Okay, fine, done.
Fucking awesome. Yeah. So that's what's going on in the old wrestling. By the way, Dark Side of the Ring is back. I know you don't have Vice, so you have to wait till he's come out.
Yeah.
The where do they put them on? Are they on like Paramount Plus? Maybe
they were on Hulu. The ones I saw were on Hulu.
So that was like the first 2 seasons, but I wonder like where does this season go? Like if you don't have the channel, it's got to be.
So something. I'm looking at Vice right now. I want to see if I can like sign in with like.
So Joe says Hulu, but I don't know if he just means for the first 2 seasons.
It's the first 2 seasons because I haven't seen that.
So they just came back from hiatus this past week, and their episode was on the plane ride from hell.
You were excited for that?
Yeah, you got to let me know when you watch this. So the plane ride from hell. I had known some of it. It's a little darker than I thought. But basically what happened was this is like, I want to say 02, 03. And they were doing like a 4 event thing over in Europe. And they just finished that up. And they're on like a private plane.
Oh, shit. It's on there now. Sorry.
Oh, is it?
Season 3 is on there now.
Yeah. So catch up.
Yep. Brian Pillman, episode 1 and 2.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And by the way, well, I won't spoil anything.
Don't spoil anything because I can't wait to. I know you said that one was good. Nick Gage was good. Collision in Korea was ridiculous.
Yep. Dude, you'll love it. This season's better than the other 2. And so anyway, Plane Ride from Hell, without giving anything away, is basically 02, 03, and they're flying back to Connecticut, and there's a flight delay. They're on the plane. It doesn't move, but they're on it for 7 hours before it takes off. They went through 3 entire carts of the booze. They drank all the booze. Plus, these guys are all on drugs. They're all doing like.
And I'm trying to think like who was on that roster because that was like heyday shit.
But it was a really weird group because this was at the time that they merged ECW, WCW, and WWE.
So you had like fucking the Sandman on the same flight as like the Hardy Brothers.
So Sandman,
the Hardy Boys.
No, I'll tell you who was on it. It was Rob Van Dam, Tommy Dreamer.
Oh my God.
Brock Lesnar, Mr. Perfect, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, X-Pac, Ric Flair.
Oh my God.
Big factor in this one. But then you also had like Jim Ross, Vince McMahon, Vince's wife. Remember the guy? What the fuck was his name from the Freebirds? Michael Hayes.
Yeah,
who was, managed the Hardy Boys.
Yeah,
isn't it? It's just Goldust.
Jesus Christ,
just incredible. Yeah, it was a bizarre.
Fucking just incredible.
Oh well, Beltron says the new episode's also on YouTube. Yeah,
right, so
on YouTube. But dude, watch this one. But then it goes. So a lot of the stuff I'd kind of known about, and then some. And so they got one of the stewardesses to be on the episode, and that's where it's kind of fucked. That's where it's actually really fucked.
Mm.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Anyway, I got some trailers and things.
Yeah, let's do that.
How about Lock and Key season 2 on Netflix?
Yeah,
dude, Lock and Key season 1 blew.
It sucked. There was no edge to it. There was nothing like spooky or macabre or supernatural about it. It was just like, okay, this key does a weird thing.
And I like the comic book a lot.
Yeah.
The Joe Hill book. And by the way, we're going to at some point have our top 10 horror comics for Dorktober. Yep. I haven't done my list yet, but Lock and Key is going to get some consideration for top 10. I liked it a lot. The show blew.
The shoe stunk.
Yeah.
Stunk. But I'm not excited for this. There's a new. It's not Hill House. There's a new Haunting of something, right? Coming out.
Yeah, is that Midnight Mass?
Something like that. Yeah.
The one with Saracen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's coming out. There's also a movie called "There's Someone Inside Your House." What do you think of that?
I don't know. We'll see how they pull that off because it's like it looks in the trailer they're out in like a farm field kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I swear. So I had a buddy who grew up in Hollis, New Hampshire, right across from a cornfield. That always tripped me out. I always thought that someone was gonna like walk out of that.
Yeah,
and they're very poorly lit. I don't like any of that.
No.
Yeah.
What are you supposed to do with that? But this has James Wan and is it Sean Levy as the producers, which again it can be a little misleading. Just because somebody produces it doesn't mean
look at like
in it.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't like that.
I'll watch it. I've watched every.
We watched every horror movie we can get our hands on. We'll watch it. Yeah.
Last week, I saw a film. As I recall, it was a horror film.
Where do you stand on this? You already know where I stand on it. Ugh. I Know What You Did Last Summer, the TV series coming to Amazon Prime.
I will listen to you talk about Scream, how Scream is one of your favorite movies, and the Scream, I don't want to say trilogy,
quadrant.
Quartet. Fine. I will listen to that until the cows come home.
Yeah. Good.
I Know What You Did Last Summer stinks.
No, stop.
It sucks.
Stop. They had the 4 hottest people in the world.
Right. And that was it.
All in the movie at the same time.
Yeah. And it sucked out loud.
Jennifer Love Hewitt, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Ryan Phillippe, Freddie Prinze Jr.
The best scene of that movie was filmed by a child.
Which scene was that?
The one where Jennifer Love Hewitt is like standing like, what are you waiting for? Like, I'm right here. Like, that was filmed by a fan.
The kid didn't film it. The kid gave her the idea for it.
Directed it or something.
Yeah. It's a good scene. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? I love that.
Stinks, man. That was like the hook hand, the old hook hand urban legend. Like, that's stupid.
Sarah Michelle Gellar's wearing the Ryan Phillippe varsity jacket.
You gotta give your girl your varsity jacket, right?
Sure do.
I made my wife watch the first half of MacGruber. She fell asleep.
MacGruber! He has a drink or two each night, but it doesn't affect his job. MacGruber! The guy's a social drinker. MacGruber!
So what I've come to realize is
yes,
not only is that the greatest comedy film of all time, but I was watching the Norm MacDonald show with Lorne Michaels. And Lorne basically said, like, sense of humor is a sign of intelligence.
Yes.
Therefore, people who don't think MacGruber's funny are dumb.
MacGruber is so funny. And she did laugh. Keep in mind, it was late at night.
Yeah.
She did have a couple of Cutwater, so she was, so she was already a little sleepy. But she was watching this. She's like, what the fuck is this? Like the first 5 minutes of the movie. She's like, what the Val Kilmer? What is this? Like, what is it? She had no idea what it was. Like, it's Dieter von Kuntz. Let's go pound some Kuntz.
Bloody hell, what was that?
I absolutely love that movie. But Dorktober is coming up, Ryan. We are 10 days away from hashtag Dorktober 6. Jason Rossi lives. We have sort of a loose plan right now because there's going to be a few episodes that are not horror related just because like the What If show finishes in October. Let me ask you this. Do you want to do a Dune episode? Yeah, I know. Maybe we watch it.
No, because something comes out this like the same weekend as Dune.
Venom. So we should probably do Venom.
We should do Venom.
All right. So we'll do Venom.
No, we are legally obligated to do Venom. We have to do Venom.
We'll do every goddamn concept.
That's on brand. Dune, if Dune's good, we could even if Dune is good and Venom sucks, we could spend half the episode one talking about the other. You know what I mean?
True.
Yeah.
And we go look at Dork Short. One thing I definitely know is on October 15th, and we just tweeted out at Dork Podcast the final trailer for Halloween Kills.
So that's going to be the marquee. That's going to be the staple of.
That's the staple. That is also going to be available. Going to be available via Peacock.
Yeah.
It was sort of like a late ad. They just like announced that, I think like last month, right? They were like, hey, in theaters, also streaming on Peacock. So really no excuse not to watch Halloween Kills.
And there's a lot of movies that are doing so. Dune is doing that as well. The Matrix is doing it.
Well, all those HBO Max movies I knew about.
Yeah, but
Dune,
it's crazy the movies that are coming out.
But then they're not next year. I think HBO Max is not doing that with their Warner Brothers thing. But so anyway, Halloween Kills will be in the middle, either before or right after that. I want to do 2021 horror movies because there's been a shitload, and again, whether you've seen them or not, I can pitch them to you or whatever.
No, I mean, this is the weekend where I kind of have to like dig in and watch some movies.
I've watched so many horror
so
movies.
You just need to give me the list of movies that you've seen and we'll watch the shit out of them.
All right, I'm gonna pull that up right now.
I'm gonna pull it like just horror movies.
Yep. Yeah, just horror movies. And then people can dive in because there have been some buttes.
So right, we turned off Malignant to watch MacGruber the other night.
Oh, you didn't finish Malignant?
It was like,
did you get what I was saying? Well, how far?
Yes, because so I got to the part where the guy was pointing his finger in his wife's face and was like, maybe you shouldn't get pregnant.
Yeah, that was a little over.
I was like, what the and I was like, what the hell is happening? Right. Because it was like,
no, you got to go further than that.
It was so
you got to go further than that.
But I was the acting. I didn't know. Like you said it was either going to be people's favorite or people hated it.
Yeah.
I didn't know. So it was James Wan. So I was thinking of like, okay, so this is going to be like a, Conjuring, or this is going to be something like that. And it was like this weird homage to like cheesy B horror movies. Like the acting was ridiculous. The script was ridiculous. It was done on purpose. I could tell.
Yeah.
But it was just so fucking weird. And I just wasn't ready for that.
Yeah. Well, somebody on Twitter was like, so basically James Wan did his two blockbusters in like Fast and the Furious and Aquaman so he could make like a love letter to like B horror movies.
Yeah. And for me, like, I love that stuff. It just, when you get thrown such a curveball watching a movie, you're just like, I can't do this right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
So here are some of the ones that I've seen. Candyman, Werewolves Within.
That one I really want to see.
Well, we already talked about the Fear Street trilogy. That was
great. Yeah.
Don't Breathe 2.
I have to see that. Yep.
Malignant, The Forever Purge, Blood Red Sky, Spiral. That's the Saw movie.
Did you see that?
Yep.
Did it stinky? Was it Cho Jeans?
No. It wasn't Show Jeans or Fireballs or
okay.
It was like in the middle. It is in the middle. Something called Aftermath. We did an episode on The Conjuring, The Woman in the Window, The Wrong Turn reboot. I watched that. Army of the Dead, Quiet Place Part 2,
Army of the Dead,
a classic horror story, which I might have liked more, but it was dubbed, and that just threw me off.
Yeah.
That threw me off. Things Heard and Seen was the Amanda Seyfried one. That was Choji's.
Was that the one with Kevin Bacon?
No, God, no.
No, there was one with Kevin Bacon. It was like You Should Have Left or something. I think You Should Leave, but
yeah. So I think we should do one on those, like recapping as many of those as we can.
You Should Have Left.
You should have left.
You know which movie I want to see? I don't think it's horror so much. Pig, the Nicolas Cage movie that got like ridiculously good reviews. I don't know if it's a horror movie.
No, Pig. I watched Pig. Pig's not a horror movie, but Pig was good.
Okay.
Pig was good. And Cage was awesome in it.
And by the way, Amanda Seyfried was in You Should Have Left with Kevin Bacon.
Oh, she was, but I'm thinking
yeah.
this other one.
Yeah, I was. So we were thinking. Yeah, I wasn't that far off.
I felt terrible too because like my wife and I, we watch a lot of different things, and then every once in a while, it's like, all right, let's just watch something together.
Yeah,
and I pitched that one, so I'm like, oh, it's Amanda Seyfried, it's Netflix, and it was so bad. And she's like, what the fuck was this? I'm like, I know.
What do you want me to do?
By the way, my wife's birthday tomorrow, so happy birthday!
Oh, happy birthday, Katie!
I don't know if she's gonna make it to this point of the podcast because she'd have to download it and start it to get there. But anyway,
yeah.
It's a little message there buried in the little time capsule for you. A little love note. What about this? So I haven't heard back from the people that were going to give me $1,300 to watch 13 horror movies. I know you haven't either. What if we did, and we got to figure out when this is, even if it's an old movie, we each put one out there, and then we tell people to watch it ahead of time. Find one that's like streaming for free.
Yeah.
Break it down like it's like a real, like a new one.
Yes. Night Flyer.
We're doing Night Flyer. We're doing Night Flyer. That is a deep pull. That goes back to October 1.
It's on the internet, and there's a site that's like, can you please watch this? Can someone please watch the Night Flyer?
That's got to be a Tubi. I bet Tubi's got it too. Don't sleep on Tubi during.
I'm not sleeping on. I never sleep on Tubi.
Okay.
Let me see. It looks like you can watch the whole thing on YouTube. On YouTube. So right when you're done with this episode, jump on YouTube.
Hop on the Night Flyer. Only an hour and 37 minutes. 33% by Rotten Tomatoes. Really isn't that bad.
It's not that bad.
No.
It really isn't. But the idea of a vampire flying a single engine airplane that's all black.
Yikes.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, we should really figure out, like, one night, instead of doing this, do like a watch party.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that though.
I don't know how to do it either. Well, hopefully we can figure it out and we won't get in trouble. But
yeah, like Joe's got a good idea. Dork Horror Theater 3000. We just find a way.
If we just play the audio and we don't show the video,
can't. No, that's
can't do that.
Although Night Flyer, I'm sure Night Flyer doesn't. Nobody's got that thing copywritten. We could do that anytime we want.
No one gives a shit. It's common. Was it public domain now?
Jason recommends Midnight Meat Train, which I actually did see. Not bad.
I recommended that to my wife last night. She was not interested.
She turned that down.
In the Midnight Meat Train.
Just in my past.
So, yeah, that's pretty good.
Oh man,
was that a Bradley Cooper? I think that was a Bradley Cooper.
Was it the Midnight Meat Train? Is a Bradley Cooper film?
Yeah, pretty sure.
I've never heard of that before.
You never heard of Midnight Meat Train? No, we're not. He's not joking. I'm not joking. Midnight Meat Train's a real thing. Good, nice.
Oh man,
Midnight Meat Train. Who's in this guy?
Who is this? Ryan Davis. Who do you think you are?
Right.
Who's this kid in the Ryan Davis? Who do you think you are?
It's Ryan Davis. Twitch has watch parties, but it has to be a movie on Amazon Prime. There you go. Bradley Cooper, Leslie Bibb, Brooke Shields, Ted Raimi, and Vinnie Jones were in Midnight Meat Train, which was based on the book The Midnight Meat Train by Clive Barker. It was good. Dude. I watched it. Came out in 2008. You can watch
Vinnie Jones looks like he's there's a bullet tooth Tony there. Looks menacing with his little hammer, his little tenderizing hammer.
Why do they call him the Bullet Dodger?
Because he dodges bullets.
Guess where you can watch Midnight Meat Train right now?
Tubi.
Yep. You're goddamn right.
Are you a big Pluto TV guy too?
No, I don't really fuck around with Pluto TV. I'm too busy on Tubi.
I love how you go to Tubi and it's like log in, and you just click browse. It's like, all right, never mind. You don't have to. It's cool.
All right, or watch it, whatever you want.
Yeah.
We have all these movies somehow. How is this a streaming service? I have no idea.
I don't know. No one's caught it yet. We haven't gotten in trouble yet, so we're just gonna keep doing it.
Oh yeah, Tubi's great. Tubi's got all the horror movies.
I'm looking at the most popular movies on Tubi right now. Would you like a list?
Yeah, Midnight Meat Train.
No. The Columbo, the television show.
Yeah, obviously.
Midsommar Murders. Jennifer's Body.
Can't confirm or deny.
Dude, I like Jennifer's Body. Speaking of Amanda Seyfried and Megan Fox.
Jesus, did you see Megan Fox at the VMAs?
I did.
Good Lord.
So
she's ripping off Rose McGowan's dress.
Yes, she is. She's also in a horror movie that is already out, and it's going to be on Netflix October 1st called Till Death, which sounds, just from the premise, a little like the Carla Gugino Gerald's Game.
Okay.
She's like handcuffed to like her dead husband or something.
Oh dear.
So it sounds familiar, but I'm going to watch the heck out of that when that comes.
Oh, you want a really depressing movie on Tubi? Watch the movie Sleepers.
Oh. Sleepers is a good movie, though.
It is a good movie, but that is a lot of movie. That's a lot.
That is rough.
Here's a movie we could do for our House of Wax, starring Paris Hilton.
Any of these little fuckers ever pop out of the fucking wall and say, fuck, there's a horse cock in my room or a donkey dick?
Yeah, I didn't like House of Wax was okay.
No, it wasn't okay. That stunk.
Any late 90s, early 2000s. I know that was like 05. I want to say House of Wax was 05. I'd watch.
Let me see where you land on that. Let me see.
Go ahead.
I'm going to click on it.
That's my guess. 2005.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah. I'm a horror savant.
I'm a savant.
I'm like a regular M. Night Shyamalan.
You watch Son of the Mask?
No.
On Tubi?
Which is one of the great moves by Jim Carrey to say, not going to do that movie.
No, thank you.
No, not going to do that. Although I think he advised Jamie Kennedy to do it. And he was like, take the money. And he did. Ryan Mitchell. So that movie is not called Till Death.
That is called Death Becomes Her.
Correct.
Which is a wonderful, wonderful movie.
Ryan mentioned the Bruce Willis, Meryl Streep, Goldie Hawn movie. And that is a great movie.
That movie's awesome. Remember in the end when they were like, they couldn't die, but they were still like kicking the shit out of each other and they looked like they were falling apart. That was a good movie. Wait,
which one?
Death Becomes Her.
Yeah.
They couldn't die.
Oh, right. And then the scene that they're fighting each other. Yeah. Job Shattuck. You think it's Job or Job?
I hope it's Job.
Job. He said he went to see House of Wax. The film got stuck and melted off the machine. He says no cap.
No cap. Oh, that means he's not lying.
I understand what cap means.
You understand that? All right. It's taking me a little while because like
I'm old. I'm not that old.
You catting?
Conflicted on whether to say anything because I feel like Michael Patrick Porkins could win it even without the oral. His father didn't need to do the oral.
It's true.
That is why this is so tough for me to tell about the oral.
So anyway, I'm pretty pumped for Dorktober, as you can see.
You will be happy to know that at my I'm coaching football now again, and we not well in terms of record. We're 0-2 in 2 scrimmages right now. But one of the highlights of the season so far, we were putting together our kick return team.
Oh, I love a good kick return.
Right? So I'm looking out there and someone goes, oh, look at all these guys. I go, what a crop. And a kid leans over to me and he goes, who's carved up? Who's a slab of beef out there? I'm like,
did he really?
You're my favorite player right now.
That's the guy. You got a guy.
Like, what a crop.
Who's carved up?
Who's carved up? Who's a slab of beef out there?
Shit on me. I can't breathe.
It's like, yeah, like you, kid. You're going to be all right.
I had 2 career kick return touchdowns. I feel like that's like as good of opportunity to tell people that as any. I don't really get to share that all that often.
No, you don't. And it reminds me of our friend Tristan Bessie with this was true story. We didn't score a lot of points, but he scooped and scored an extra point, which got us 2 points
Yeah.
And I will never forget. You could hear him. Tristan has this very unique laugh, and you could hear him laughing as he was ready. Like running, like finger up in the air, like running down the field. We got
remember
in that game. Yeah.
Somebody blocked their extra point.
Yes.
Grabbed it and ran like 90 yards. Nobody caught him.
Scampered. Because everyone thought the play was dead. And like it wasn't.
Off like a bullet. And I probably ended up losing that game 44-16.
Belmont Hill, they fucking killed us.
Oh, they beat the balls off us every time. That was a man's team over there, Belmont Hill.
What are we, 10 years old? I've seen every cock on the planet.
Yeah. Well,
it's not good behavior.
So speaking of that, we got an email. No. This was it was an email from @snooze_bar.
Okay.
He said, which is more important, length or girth?
I'm going to word this very carefully.
Okay.
I am a girthy person. I am not long.
You know what?
I'm going to go. I'm a girth man through and through.
I'd say get you a guy who can do both.
But I would say, in all honesty, lasting longer.
Get you a guy who can do both. Now, obviously, not me, as referenced in previous years' resolutions. I did see on Twitter somewhere, Ryan. You know how I think it was it Hot Girl Summer just ended?
It sure did.
I think it was Hot Girl Summer. Apparently, it's Small Dick Fall. And the only rule is you have to, in fact, have a small dick. So I was like, let's get it started.
Round them up.
Come on.
Let's do it.
The line starts here. We're going to have a hell of a fall, guys. Pumpkin lattes. Checking your fantasy scores.
Stretch pants and Uggs. We are fucking having a time. Big chunky scarves.
Give me that.
Oh, North Face jackets.
No.
Black stretch pants. Uggs.
I'm wearing a lightweight hoodie with shorts, and I feel
like looking like a button on a wool sweater. That's what we're doing right now.
I love it.
Small Dick Fall officially has begun.
It is the solstice. What, the 21st? Is it today? The first day of fall today?
Today's the 20th. No, today's the 20th. We're recording this on the 20th, the late night on the 20th. So by the time people are listening to this on the podcast, I think we'll officially be in Small Dick Fall.
Little Pecker Autumn. Dink Autumn. Would you rather have a dink or a chode? I think a dink, to clarify, is my understanding.
I'm pretty sure I know, but for the audience, go ahead.
For the audience, a chode is a phallus that is just as wide as it is long, like a tuna can, like someone said in the chat. And a dink is just the head. Oh, no shaft, just a dink.
I think the obvious answer is chode.
Yeah, but think about it. You can pee straight out. It's perpendicular. It's just so much more convenient when at a urinal. You just pee straight out. Straight line. Oh, fuck. I'm sweating.
What are we, 10 years old? Cock on the planet.
Woo. All right.
Come on, guys.
Clean it up.
Enjoy Small Dick Fall. Sign up for the newsletter.
Oh,
I'll have an email blast every Tuesday during Small Dick Fall.
Oh,
different events. All right, so
we've rented out the VFW in Woburn. Please come out for the first gathering of the Dinks. The first annual Chode Parade will be held in Wilmington.
I'm expecting a nice turn. Small dick fall fun run. It's a 5K. So
we call it a dinky trot. I'm all Team Chode though. I'm on Team Chode.
Yeah, I think that's the safe money.
Yeah.
Ryan, this is more a question for you. You're more the music man on the podcast.
Yeah, sure.
Mark with a C asked Iron Maiden or Judas Priest?
Maiden. Easy.
So I guess my thought would be Iron Maiden, but I actually quote Judas Priest like once a week in the house. And I'll say, because anytime my wife asks me to do something, and then I'll say, to quote the great Judas Priest, you got another thing coming.
She's like, she loves
rolls her eyes. Yeah, she's like, great. Probably Maiden, just like for the catalog.
Just straight catalog, I think Iron Maiden. And the fact that, like, have you ever seen them live? I've never seen them live, but I've watched concerts on like YouTube. I actually missed a chance to see them live when they came to Mansfield, but
I bet they're loud.
They're loud, and those fucking guys, I'm telling you, they're in there. They got to be close to 70, and they're out there running. Yeah. Bruce Dickinson's running around, and I mean, I saw AC/DC at Gillette, and those guys never stop. I don't know how you get that amount of energy every night. They never stop touring. Not only that, Bruce Dickinson flies the plane. He flies the tour plane.
Does he really?
Yeah, he's a commercial airline pilot. He flies.
My God.
Yeah. Wow. Crazy, right? He's like a big World War I, World War II buff too.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
What is it called? Air Eddie or something like that?
That was incredible.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite Iron Maiden song?
Ed Force One. My favorite Iron Maiden song is Fear of the Dark.
Yeah.
Or Aces High are my favorite.
Okay.
Maiden songs.
Yeah, pretty good one. Mm-hmm. Let's see. This one from Birdman. Would you rather have a non-magic wand or nothing at all?
I would rather have nothing. I would rather have $125 or whatever the fuck you spent.
Yeah, $120 last week.
Jesus Christ.
You missed it. Check out last week. Should I have bought this?
$120
don't. Out the door.
Or you can't. There are certain things in life you can't unsee.
Yeah.
That is the worst $125 ever. And again, hopefully your wife loved it, but mercy me.
Wes, formerly of the Boxers podcast, is asking, are we good with Henry Cavill being a good-looking dork? He's like, are you upset that Henry Cavill is also a super dork, apparently?
Oh, look who you're fucking talking to, man.
Present company would be very included with Henry Cavill. So.
Absolutely. But I did see there were some pictures circulating around of him shirtless building a PC. And I'm like, who the fuck? Like, who do you think you are?
Doesn't make a ton of sense.
No, he's the real deal, too. Like, he read all of the Witcher books. He read a ton of Superman to get ready for the role. He builds PCs. He games a ton. Like, he's the real deal.
Podcast?
I hope he does. I would love to talk to him.
I have formally invited 2 people on the podcast and crickets both times. I don't know if I say who. Should I say who?
Yes.
I reached out. And again, we have no imprint on Instagram, and
zero
did it. We have zero, so I'm not surprised it was crickets. But the 2 people I wanted to talk to on the podcast were Tim Robinson and Dane Cook. Crickets on both.
I mean, I think if you reached out to them directly from the Keefe 21, you might have a little bit more pull. But I know you don't like looking at that Twitter account.
No, I would, but Tim Robinson doesn't have Twitter.
Okay.
So that's why I didn't with Tim. With Dane, I guess with Dane I could, or maybe the next time he's in Boston, maybe you could come on or something like that. But
that'd be sweet. You could just fucking kick him in here and be like, listen to me. Yeah. And you know how many jokes speaking of Gary Gulman, Dane Cook, do you know how many jokes of yours I've stolen and used in conversation all the time?
All of them. But I defend him.
You're right too. He's not a bad comic. He was basically like the Nickelback of comedians, where it just became like in vogue to just make fun of him. And like Kevin Hart's kind of going through the same thing right now, but
yeah,
like, but
For our generation, I think Dane Cook is more equatable, and not from other comics, but from like people our age and younger. It's sort of like Limp Bizkit, where people are like, "Oh yeah, I never liked them." It's like,
yes, you did.
You liked them both. Just
You
deal
liked them
with
both. Just deal with it.
It's just,
And I'm going to say it on the Nickelback is a fine band.
well,
They're fine.
not for me.
I know that because they're like that mid-tempo kind of like pussy rock kind of thing. But like,
I like the one that they had a song called "Leader of Men," which was on the MTV Headbangers Ball Volume 2.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
They're not a bad band.
The Rock My Socks.
They're not for everybody, but you're going to tell me that they're the worst band in the world when
I'm not gonna say they're the worst band in the world. The Zach Brown band. What if? Have you watched all the What If episodes?
Yeah, so I watched Zombies.
Zombies was 5, and then Killmonger and Iron.
Oh yeah, so I did watch that, and that one. So this one was like super uneven. It was like 4. It was like 35 minutes long or longer.
Yeah,
and I felt like it was 3 separate stories in one.
Yeah,
like it should have ended.
I loved having more Killmonger though. I thought that part was pretty cool.
But how many double crosses can you have in one episode?
A lot of double crosses.
There's a lot of double crosses there.
Yeah. I think it's worth doing an episode on. So we'll do that. That'll be probably the one of the, like I said, the non-spooky Dorktober episodes, just because it's Marvel. They have 3 more episodes to go. We'll hit on it. I think it's been more missed than hit, but whatever. Yeah. I did catch up on Why the Last Man. I've watched all 3 or the first 3 episodes of Why the Last Man. That comes out on Monday night. So it's like when we're recording the podcast, that's out on Monday.
I watched the first one, and you agree that we're approaching Fireballs?
Yeah, it's real good.
Yeah.
My sense is that the book is better, and I guess that's the case a lot of times, but I loved the comic book, and I ripped through it. I would tell everybody to recommend that one. This feels like it's not going to be able to capture everything from that, but maybe close. Like it's still definitely worth watching.
Yeah, there's some dynamics to not to like. So the location of his girlfriend is not anywhere near the same as it is in the book. That's the first thing I picked up on, because she's in Australia when the shit goes down.
Right.
Yeah.
They got to figure that part out.
Getchell says that Star Wars Visions start this week.
Oh, I'm
excited for that.
Oh,
that was on our list of things. Yeah,
I'm glad you brought up Star Wars, Ryan. Both Ryans.
It's Ryan. It's Ryan. It's my Ryan. My Ryan.
So Marcia Lucas was trending today. She did an interview. Marcia Lucas was is the ex-wife of George Lucas.
Sure.
And was also an editor on the first trilogy of Star Wars films.
Kept the last name. Old.
Yep. So I don't know where she's been or why she's doing an interview now, but she had a few things to say about both the sequel trilogy and the prequel trilogy.
Oh boy.
Would you like to hear some of these quotes from Marcia Lucas?
Yes.
So obviously, Kathleen Kennedy is overseeing a lot of the Star Wars.
Time out. Do you think how long has she been divorced from George Lucas?
Oh my God. I'll look that up actually for you.
I wonder if there's like some gag order that expired that now she can talk about shit.
That's a good point. Let me look that up.
If it's like 10 years on the nose, it was like
he was married to Marcia Griffin, originally her name, from 1969. Nice.
Jesus.
Yes. To 1983, which I believe is when Last Jedi came out.
Yes.
All right. And so Kathleen Kennedy is overseeing like all the Star Wars stuff now. This is a quote from Marcia Lucas. I like Kathleen. I always liked her. She was full of beans. So that's a compliment?
Yeah, that means like you're like hot to trot. Like you're full of like,
yeah. All right. It's full of beans. She was really smart and really bright, really wonderful woman. And I liked her husband, Frank. I like them a lot. Now that she's running Lucasfilm and making movies, it seems to me that Kathy Kennedy and J.J. Abrams don't have a clue about Star Wars. They don't get it. And J.J. Abrams is writing these stories. When I saw that movie where they kill Han Solo, I was furious. I was furious when they killed Han Solo. Absolutely, positively, there was no rhyme or reason to it. I thought, you don't get the Jedi story. You don't get the magic of Star Wars. You're getting rid of Han Solo. And then at the end of the last one, The Last Jedi, they have Luke disintegrate. They killed Han Solo. They killed Luke Skywalker. And they don't have Princess Leia anymore. and they're spitting out movies every year, and they think it's important to appeal to a woman's audience. So now their main character is this female who's supposed to have Jedi powers, but we don't know how she got Jedi powers or who she is. It sucks. The storylines are terrible, just terrible, awful. You can quote me, J.J. Abrams, Kathy Kennedy, talk to me. She also, that was one excerpt from an interview that she did. She also apparently, after she saw Force Awakens, she cried because it was so bad.
Force Awakens?
No. I'm sorry, not Force Awakens. Phantom Menace.
Oh, I think I almost cried too.
I liked it. I was so young.
I mean, you were, Where were you, like 9?
No, Phantom Menace.
What are you, 10 years old?
I've seen every cock on the... No, I was 15 when it came out.
No. Phantom Menace
was 99, wasn't it? Phantom Menace was 99. Come on. You know me. I know my movie years, for Christ's sake.
Are you sure?
Yeah, what am I, some sort of asshole?
Because I saw that, but I didn't see it with you. You're right, 99.
No, you didn't see that one with me.
But it came out over Christmas, so we must have been on Christmas break. Because I definitely would have gone to seen that with you, but I didn't. I remember who I saw.
No, that one came out May of 99.
Am I out of my fucking mind?
They normally come out Christmas, but I just looked that up. I didn't know when it came out. That came out May of 99.
Like, I knew where I was when I saw it. I saw it opening day, but like,
yeah.
I was in Tingsboro, the Tingsboro AMC. Yeah,
nice.
That's still there.
But anyway, so she's steaming. But I am looking forward to Visions, by the way.
I am looking forward to Visions. I'm so excited for that.
Oh, so speaking of this kind of, it's all sort of the umbrella. So Dune, the Dune's coming out in a couple of weeks.
Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah, that's the director. Denis
Villeneuve. Also the goalie in Slapshot.
How about that?
It's not. It's Denis Villeneuve. I sing a pen when the puck comes down. Bang. Yeah.
He is now just the latest to kind of crap on Marvel movies. That's his approach to get some pub for Dune. He basically was like, oh, they're just like cut and paste from other movies or whatever. And like, he just kind of took a big crap on Marvel movies.
You have to a point. Yeah. I mean, some of the origin stuff is pretty cookie cutter. It's that whole monomyth stuff. But I'm not going to apologize for liking having a good time. I'm not going to apologize for liking what I like and smiling. I think there is room in this world for both art and entertainment. And sometimes we blur that line. Fine.
Like, you don't think movies, not you, but like the people that get on their high horse about movies, like they at the very least should be entertaining. They should be something that people want to see.
That's the whole point of them.
Right. And that's why it's like so funny to me, like this, that you get like this corner of these people are like, you know what, movies aren't going to be the same anymore. Like, people want these Marvel movies, and they want like
fucking right. We do
theater, correct?
Right, because I want it's fantasy. Like, seeing a movie is like.
Well, because a lot of people want to, for an hour and a half to 2 hours, kind of get away from whatever they're dealing with and just enjoy themselves. Right. And stop thinking about, maybe how their life is going and just enjoy a movie. And then you have all these people that are like, no, they gotta sniff each other's farts out there. And it's like, ugh.
Well, the other thing too is like we talked about sleepers, right? So we watched Shang-Chi. I love that movie. I thought I'd love it. I really liked that movie. I thought it was really well done, really well shot. Story was a little cookie cutter, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But I left the theater smiling. You watch a movie like Sleepers or Requiem for a Dream or shit. I'm trying to think of like some like really depressing movies.
Those are good movies to watch.
They're good movies to watch.
Them, yeah.
And I'm glad I watched it.
Yeah.
I'm over it. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to do something that I know will make me miserable.
Mm-hmm.
I
watched
which is why I don't play Bloodborne or Dark Souls or whatever.
Smash my head against the wall.
Yeah.
I watched a movie over the weekend that I did not enjoy, and that was the new Clint Eastwood movie.
Oh, Cry Macho. It's even a terrible name.
Terrible name. Terrible movie.
He's lost it. He's done, I think.
He should have, his last movie, and again, if people are going to see it or if he likes to do it, I'm not going to tell you what to do with your life, but Gran Turismo or whatever. No. Gran Torino.
Yeah.
Turismo is the great game. Gran Torino, which I want to say was 2013. I'm on a hot streak now.
I'm gonna check.
You're probably
keep going.
probably what it was. 2013 Gran Torino was awesome.
Yes.
And it was like the perfect kind of old man Clint Eastwood role.
What did you say? What year?
2013?
2008.
Oh, God. Way older than I thought.
Yep. You might have seen it in 2013.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. You know what? I remember where I was. No. So 2008. But that even goes to... Do you know how old Clint Eastwood is?
He's like in his 90s, isn't he?
91. This movie, like, you feel bad for him. Like, there's one scene where he's like handing his ID to like the border guy, and his like hands like shaking the whole time. And it's like,
yeah.
There was a scene where he was like putting up his dukes with like somebody, and he like threw like a little bit of a punch, and they didn't really cut it. So like you see him do it, and the guy goes, "Whoa, you're quicker than you look." And you're like, "No, he's not. He's slower. He's slower." The movie was also so bad. If anybody else saw Cry Macho, so bad. It was like he, just to remind himself where he was, it was like he was reading the stage direction. He was like, "Hey, there's a store. I'm going to go in there." He was like saying these things. At one point, the movie cuts to the Federale, right? Because they're in Mexico. Yeah. So the police, they show the Federale. They drive up. The camera goes on to him. And then it flashes back to Clint, flashes back to the kid. And he looks at the kid. There's like another part of a scene. He's like, "Hey, it's the Federale." Like, we got it.
We see it.
Clint, we got it. I wonder if like they weren't even supposed to be lines that he was supposed to say. He was just like talking about what was happening in the movie.
It's like that scene in the fucking Irishman when they open the meat truck and there's no meat in there, and you could tell that there was no script present.
Yeah.
Don't look at me. Hey, don't look at me. Who am I supposed to look at? I don't know. I just drive the truck.
Line.
Don't look at me. You know, like, what the fuck are we doing?
And like I'm not obsessed with Eastwood by any stretch. I saw that you were watching.
I watched
Josie.
I love Josie Wales, which is fucking, that movie's awesome.
Yeah.
So that was on, I think it's on Netflix, but I found that on Netflix because I noticed that with Cry Macho, HBO Max has put on like, other than Josie Wales, like every Clint Eastwood movie.
Well, so I felt bad being like, because like the guy is so old, he just really shouldn't have made the movie. But Cry Macho was so bad. And it was late at night, and I still went back and watched the first hour of Unforgiven.
The movie fucking rules.
I wanted to see him in something else.
Yeah, I love that movie. That won Best Picture, right?
Yeah, 92. That for sure was 92. I know.
Yeah.
Look that one up. I know that one.
At what age do you think Clint Eastwood couldn't beat you up anymore?
Oh, I'm not convinced he couldn't still beat me up now.
I could kick his ass. I could kick this shit out of him right now.
Yeah, how big a guy is he? Like,
I think he's tall. I think he's like over. I think he's like 6'2". But I like.
But wasn't he in like the Marines or something? I think he's like a tough dude. Like
he's 6'4", by the way.
6'4", so he's got reach on you for days.
It doesn't matter. I bulldog him. There's no like. I get him on the ground. He's not getting back up.
I don't know, man. He served.
He fucking served, man.
Served. Show some respect.
I am showing respect. I'm showing respect by like I'm gonna go full force.
He also,
that was my jumping Jeff Farmer, by the way. If you haven't, yeah.
I believe he won't tell people how many kids he has because he may not know the answer.
I don't think he does. Him and what's his name?
Antonio Cromartie.
Antonio Cromartie.
He is the Antonio Cromartie of actors.
But if you're gonna sit there in your chode jeans and tell me that you can't beat up a 91-year-old man.
Not a 91-year-old man, this 91-year-old man.
Doesn't matter. He's still 91 years old.
You know, I've been to his town. He used to be the mayor of Carmel by the Sea out in California.
Yep.
I went to he owned a place called like the Hog's Breath Inn. That place, because we were like, we visited a friend and then we were going to a wedding. I forget what the hell we were doing out there. But anyway, we're out in California a few years ago. And the town that he used to like run, like, or was the mayor of,
was it Bessie's wedding?
Yeah, that's why we were there. Yeah, that's what it was. So
Tristan Bessie, he of the 2-point conversion.
Correct. So Katie's friend at the time was living in LA. So we went to LA and then we drove up the coast to San Francisco. So it's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And so we went to this Carmel by the Sea, and I've never been to a town that's more dog friendly. Like dogs are everywhere. All the restaurants. So there's like all this outdoor seating. It's all dog friendly. Obviously, we didn't have our dog with us because we were traveling, but the people there, the waitresses would fill the dog bowl water before they would fill the people water, and like dogs would just be under tables like drinking water. It was the coolest thing in the world. It's
I
great.
like that.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Are you attempting to watch The Walking Dead or Titans yet?
No.
Got it. That's fine. Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Last week we told you it was going to be rated PG-13.
Stupid.
This week it came out 90 minutes. It's going to be 90 minutes, which on the one hand I'm like, oh, that's great news. But then you're like, wait a minute, like every comic book movie is longer than that.
Not only that, but given the source material,
Yeah. They're not going to be able to explain
no.
in 90 minutes.
Unless it's like super airtight balls to the wall 90 minutes.
Yeah. I know.
Like that scene where Eddie and Venom are talking to Michelle Williams and her now fiance,
Yeah.
and Venom kind of like headbutts him.
That
should be it for them. I don't want to see them again.
Yeah. It's going to be pretty bad, though.
It's going to be so bad.
Yeah. Yeah. So Sean says Clint Eastwood was in the army. So that doesn't change your opinion?
No.
All right. Well, okay.
Was he in like Napoleon's army? Like Jesus Christ. Like the guy's 91 years old.
But he's like a crap. He's got, old man strength.
I have old man strength.
That's a good point. And dad, he has super dad strength, though, because he has 1,000 kids. Allegedly. I don't know.
Allegedly.
Oh, this is a good point. Jonah Hex was 81 minutes. Jonah Hex was such a pile of shit. I watched it good too. Josh Brolin.
And I feel like it should have been good. And there has to be a story there. There has to be a story with that movie.
I don't know. Jonah Hex popped up in Legends of Tomorrow, the CW show. They just used all these obscure DC characters at different times. And it was actually a pretty good job there. But you want a video game minute before we get out of here?
Yeah, let's do that.
It's time for Davey's video game minute. Even if it takes more than a minute.
All right, Davey, what do you have?
Well, first of all, I have this in my hands, a brand new rainbow translucent mug by our good friend at Wild Bill Soda. Go to drinkwildbills.com, use the promo code RonVonD, get yourself 20% off on one of these handsome mugs. Anything you want. You want some soda pop? You want some teas? You want some coffee? You want some hot sauce? You want some barbecue sauce? Snacks? They got it. Go to drinkwildbills.com, use the promo code RonVonD. Now, I started playing Deathloop, and I've actually started the game over twice because I feel like I missed stuff.
Oh, really?
So it's actually it's a kind of a cool story. So basically, as I've said before, so you're this guy who's stuck in this like prison that's basically these scientists created a time loop. So it's basically what's that movie? Palm Springs or Groundhog Day, but every time you die, you stay in this prison. So you're trying to
a good one.
Right. So you're trying to break this loop, and you're this assassin. There's another assassin who is an associate of yours who is hunting you as well.
Okay.
So you have to take out all of these scientists, and you have like it's hard to explain, but you have like basically 2 lives before you go all the way back to the start.
Okay.
So what's cool is that once you finish the game with Colt, you get to play as the other character.
Oh, so
like she's hunting you, and then you get to flip it.
So kind of like Last of Us Part 2 ish.
Right, but you're trying to break the loop, and she's trying to keep it intact.
Got it.
So it's like the 2 different sides of it, which is actually, and again, Last of Us 2 is. I love that story about how this is a little bit lighter. It's way lighter than that. It's not as It's super stylized, and there's a stealth element to it. I love games that you can kind of play your own way.
Yeah.
You're guns blazing.
Yes.
I don't like if I can beat an action game without actually firing a gun. Yeah. I love that.
As you can imagine, I wasn't great at Hitman.
No, but I love that.
Yeah.
I would go on missions and not even take guns.
Yeah. Just your
my piano wire and that's all I need. So that was really good. So there's I don't know. I haven't gotten far enough to say whether or not it's a masterpiece yet, or the way that IG. I think
Yeah.
Hang on. And so IKEA has just put out a line of gaming furniture.
Oh,
So
All right. What do you think?
it's going to ruin my weekend. That's what I think. Putting that shit together.
I understand.
A Hergenfluven, putting that together for my gaming chair, whatever the hell it's called.
Huh.
But yeah, and so that I don't know. I don't know about it. You want a Hergenfluven?
Nah.
And get this. So the studio that made Heavy Rain and made Detroit Becoming Human, which was a really cool game, a company called Quantic Dream, is now working on a Star Wars game.
Oh, interesting.
So that's interesting because that was it was an action-esque, but it was more like a playable movie. Well, so I'm wondering what they're going to do with that.
Because that Knights of the Old Republic remake is going to be kind of must play.
Oh, yeah.
So now
there's a lot of, and remember there was a canceled Star Wars game that was supposed to be rated M.
Right. For mature,
which Venom should have been.
Yeah,
but who knows? Whatever.
No shit.
Madden sucks. If you look at all this other, Madden's fucking still terrible. I'm just scrolling through my notes right now.
Go take a look on Madden.
Just don't play Madden. It's so bad.
I know.
Did we talk about the Overwatch is changing McCree's name?
Yeah, because it was named after a developer, right? In there,
who slick back hair,
itty bitty jeans,
glass house,
sloppy,
real piece of shit.
Yeah, still is a piece of shit.
Still is a piece of shit.
Not even used to be a piece of shit.
The baby is convinced that he can't change, so that's why they're changing the name McCree, because he was a piece of shit. He actually didn't even work on Overwatch. I think he was a World of Warcraft guy.
But what are they changing McCree's name to?
I don't know. I don't think they've said yet. If someone is in the chat what his new name is,
call him Jonah Hex. That'd make a lot of sense.
Hex, yeah. Put a little scar on his face.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they released a statement that they were going to change it, but they haven't changed that yet.
What if they named him Davey Eyeballs? Would you have to use him all the time?
I love using him. The problem is he became part of the meta and people started stealing him from me.
Yeah, I know. Well,
that was the first character. That was the first character I got good with.
By the way, we mentioned it last week. We haven't done it yet. We do have to figure out how to get a massive group of Fall Guys together.
Yeah, that has to happen. So I did do some digging, and whoever said it in the chat was right. It's 60 people.
So we can get 60 people. So we'll get anybody. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say we get this regular stable of people.
Yeah.
And then it's just whoever can get in.
First come, first serve. We'll tweet it out. We'll try to get. Was that
series? My watch. Yeah.
Pissed. So we'll try to get so Shine was definitely in, and then we'll try to get Mac and Goo, and then we'll all kind of just tweet it out. Anybody else who wants in on it. Dr. Joe's in, he's already calling in dibs from TLDR, and all those guys get in, and then we'll open up the floodgates. That'd be a blast. And then
That'd be super fun.
We're gonna stream it from here, stream it from there, stream it from everywhere.
We can open the Discord, have people shoot the breeze. It's going to be 60 people talking over each other, but
no, so we're not. So that we won't do. I'm going to step in right now. There'll be 5 or 6 of us in the Discord, and then everybody else can just join in.
Yeah.
But we can we'll probably stream it from here on the YouTube and have people they can comment whatever the fuck they want to.
Right.
Do. Anyway, so let's try to figure that out. We can talk off the air, and then we'll follow us on Twitter at Dork Podcast for the latest on that. Dork Podcast on Instagram as well, and you can email us anytime, dorkpodcast@gmail.com. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We stream every Monday night 8:45. You can always go back and watch these episodes as well, especially the episodes we do the Should I Have Bought This, because you could see how beautiful that wand was from last week if you want. You got anything else here, Rob, you want to hit on?
I don't. This was so fun. Good laughs, fucking good time, little free form in it.
Love it. This is your shit shooters. You've wanted
this is my shit shooter. I've wanted to do shit shooters for a lot. Now I had to sneak it past you and call it grab bag, but really it was just shit shooters. And you had a good time, didn't you?
I had a great time.
Yeah.
I had an excellent time. So next week is our final episode of Not Dorktober.
Not Dorktober.
Our first official episode of Small Dick Fall. So we're gonna have to come up with something good for next week. I don't know. Next week is still TBD, and then we'll be jam-packed full of nonsense in the month of Dorktober. So that'll do it for us.
Absolutely.
Right, what do they say about wombats, sir?
They're
one of the only animals in the animal kingdom that could have both chodes and dinks.
You're going to have problems, just like everything else. But stay positive and stay strong. Stay positive and stay strong.